My little Subaru definitely can't get up there. Walking along this is kind of tough. That was step one. We can do this. Currently, we are in the middle of a fire ban, so we won't be making one today. As to be expected, it is also kind of packed. And then maybe if you get really lucky in the morning, you might see some beavers or moose. Good morning, friends, from somewhere outside of Silverton, Colorado. Today I'm here with my friend Bunny, as you can see in the background. We are staying at the Golden Horn Campground. We're somewhere along the South Fork Mineral Creek. This area has a lot of different dispersed camping, wild camping, and some of it is established campgrounds that is free to stay. They're primitive sites, and there is a 14-day limit. And today I thought I would take you along with me to show you what you can expect if you were to stay in any of these established campgrounds. Was really fun, wasn't it? It was super fun. Yeah. Okay, so to start off our morning, we did a nice little nature walk around the campground. As you can tell, it's super lovely here. And so next step of our morning routine, since just right there, as you saw, was the creek, we're gonna do a cold plunge because the sun has now come out and it'll be a welcome treat. There's been a lot of wildfires in the area, so they have signs posted discussing a fire ban. So even though there's a sign here that tells you what is permitted or prohibited in terms of like making a fire, currently we are in the middle of a fire ban, so we won't be making one today. This looks like this might have been one of those established like fire rings, not one of the handmade ones like these. They don't necessarily have sections where you would see in other campgrounds where it's very obviously like numbered and stuff. Instead, this one is more of like a giant open space with random fire rings everywhere. And it's kind of one of those situations where you pull in and you figure out where you want to park and try to stay a respectable distance from your neighbor. When we got here, we got very lucky and found a corner kind of in the back there. And so we sort of sectioned it off over there so we could have a little bit of privacy. So as I said, these are primitive sites. There really are no amenities except they do have a vault toilet, which is nice to have. I will say this, like as you can tell, this whole section here is all super rocky. We had no issue getting to our spot over there, but walking along this is kind of tough. Okay, so now that you have seen a quick overview of what the campground looks like, I gotta get changed so we can do our cold plunge. All right, let's go. We're doing it. 1, 2, 3, and sit. Ah, mistakes. Oh God, okay. That was step 1. We can do this. Whew. Okay, so as you can see, this is where we were here in Silverton, which is only about like 5 minutes away. And then there's a road over here that kind of takes you down all these different campgrounds. The cold plunge we took earlier this morning was along the South Fork Mineral Creek. We're gonna try to go all the way down the rest of the road before we hit the 4x4 part. We don't have 4x4, so I can't travel that way. But we're gonna take a look at all the different campgrounds they have along this road. Here they have listed all the rules of camping in this area, but what's most important to note is that you must pack it in and pack it out. First campground in this little loop area is the Kendall Campground. You can see how this one's just a lot different than the one we're staying at. I'm gonna go around. Looking around, it looks like it's mostly very large rigs. That's why when we first drove in and we're checking it out, we were like, nah, this is not the place for us. As to be expected, it is also kind of packed. That's kind of normal though, I guess. It does look like, as I look around, that there are a lot of people who do motorized sports here that come to this particular campground. We're seeing a lot of like side-by-sides or ATVs. One of these days, Bunny over there and I, we're gonna go on that kind of adventure. Next up, we have the Anvil camping area. This one's a bit smaller. When we drove through here, it's a little tight, but it is along the creek, so that part is kind of cool. The road in is kind of super narrow. There's not a lot of room to kind of turn around a bit, and especially if it's like super packed, it does make getting in and out a little difficult. Maybe like 4 or 5 actual spots on this road, and at the very end there is a big open turnaround, but looks like there's some people there right now. I'm gonna have to figure out how to 3-point turn my way out of this, maybe 6-point turn my way out of this. Also, something to note, the ground isn't very even, and so it would probably require a lot of levelers for your big rigs. It's mostly tent campers. I would say this area, this campground, is better for tent campers. This next campground is called the Silverton Campground. It's right across the river from the Anvil Campground. You can definitely see it across from each other. I haven't driven down this way yet, but I imagine it's very similar to the Anvil one. Kind of uneven ground, super packed, maybe only 4 or 5 spots. Okay, quick look after I drove in. It's actually very different from the Anvil Campground. Really, really big rigs like we've seen, like the bus RVs, they park on this side if you want to park right next to the river. So there's a few slots here for bigger rigs. Again, maybe only 3 or 4 spots. What I do notice, looking around these 2 campgrounds, because of how small it is, there are no vault toilets. The other campgrounds do have vault toilets, so that's something to note. And next up, that we definitely cannot take you to, is the Bear Campground. Now, obviously, as you can see, in order to get up this road, you definitely need a vehicle with 4x4 capabilities to take you up there. I'm sure it's super pretty, but my little Subaru definitely can't get up there. And if my car can't get up there, definitely Bunny's can't. Wish I could show you what this looks like. Can't get there, but I'm sure it's lovely. All right, moving on to the next one. This next campground is actually the one we're staying at. It's the Golden Horn Campground. I already showed you that this morning, so we're gonna drive right past it and then go on to the next one. Okay, this little steep downhill climb there is the entrance to the Golden Horn. We're kind of back there a bit, but this is the campground from above. Oh, something to note when you're up here, yeah, some spots have cell service, but as you get deeper and deeper down the road, you start to lose it, but I guess that just depends on whether or not it matters to you. Of a dirty window. Right. That is fascinating. We ended up at the end of the road at the South Mineral Campground in the San Juan National Forest. And I didn't know this, but apparently this campground is not free. This one, there is a fee required. And I looked at the sign over there. It says it's about $40 per vehicle per night. So one can assume that there are a little bit more amenities. So if you find yourself in this area looking for camping and you're not really in the mood to find one of the super packed free dispersed camping areas, you can come to the South Mineral Campground. And in order to book, in order to pay for your camp spot, you go on recreation.gov. Please note it is first come, first serve though. There's a couple more other camping options if you don't want to stay at any of these campgrounds. Let's go check them out. I'll show you what they look like. So there are a lot of pull-offs on the side of the road that you can camp at. Some spots are smaller than others. Some can fit a large rig, although that is not quite as often. I've only seen 1 or 2 spots that can fit a large rig. Most of it is just like tiny small pull-offs kind of on the side of the road, and it's mostly for tent setups. You can park at one of the pull-offs on the side of the road and then kind of hike your way a little bit deeper, sometimes right next to the river, sometimes across the river for more spots. You can see them based on all the fire rings in the area. Here's another one of those random pull-offs that look like it could potentially be a camp spot. These sites are only open to people who can hike in or apparently go on horseback. It's not open to anything else. So see, obviously cars can't go back here. Bunny walked across this tiny little makeshift rock bridge, and she's hiking, as you can see, to the spots. I imagine it would be so peaceful sleeping to the sounds of the creek at night. And then maybe if you get really lucky in the morning, you might see some beavers or moose. At least that's what the locals have told us. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Oh my gosh. Sorry. Hold on. Which part? The knife. The knife? Yes. You had a knife? I have a big one. I got it from Harbor Freight. It's cool. Don't die. Don't. Oh, thank you. Dang it. Like this. There we go. Finally. That was stupid. I'm just dumping more chicken juices all over the camp. So, you know, a moose or a bear strolls through camp looking for chicken. They're gonna be like, I don't see no chicken. For tonight, I just made a very simple recipe of chicken and rice, but it could use a little more oomph. So Bunny has one of these yellow bird blue agave srirachas. She loves these. She raves about these all the time. So let's see what the big deal is about. Bunny gave me a warning about this. She says, even though this says it's mellow hot, that it's a little bit spicier than you'd think, like a different kind of sriracha. So I will be more conservative. Well, that's my way of being conservative.
That's a lot for you, man.
Okay, I took a bite. It's like kind of sweet almost. But yeah, it lingers on your tongue a little bit. Contrary to popular belief, which I will continue to say,
Don't listen.
I have a better spice tolerance than I did 4 years ago. Excuse me. Oh my god, dear future ending Riley. That was gross. Cut that. Oh gosh, I almost ran into the bush. Oh, that's too much. Too much rock. There we go. Uh-oh. Oh dear. Oh gosh. Anyway, we're gonna go get dressed to change. And if Mike can't get... Sorry, I did that. What was I gonna say? And it's not like the most easy. Oh, cheesecakes. Oh, wait,